Welcome everyone to the Board of Trustees meeting for February 11th, 2015. We'll start off with a moment of silence and do the Pledge of Allegiance. The moment of silence, we're going to take a moment for all those soldiers that have given their life for this country to protect our freedoms. So let's start with that and then the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We'll first start with motions for consideration. Mr. Luby.
Motion 2015-017, approve the minutes of the regular Board of Trustee meeting held on January 28th, 2015, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2015-017 to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2015-018, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2015-018 to approve the bills for payment.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2015-019, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending February 3rd, 2015.
I move motion 2015-019 to approve the payment of overtime.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2015-020, approve the conditional promotions of Joseph A. Abel, Peter P. Gardner, and Brian D. Sunderhouse, all from part-time firefighter paramedic FAOs to full-time firefighter EMTs, effective March 3rd, 2015, each pending the successful completion of a physical examination.
I move motion 2015-020, approve the conditional promotions of Joseph A. Abel, Peter Gardner, and Brian D. Sunderhouse from part-time firefighter paramedics FAOs to full-time paramedics EMTs.
Second that motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2015-021, directing notice to abutting property owners by mail and publication of the second hearing on the sidewalk assessments to be held on March 11th, 2015 at 6 p.m. at the Delhi Township Administration Building.
I move motion 2015-021 for the directing of the notices for the sidewalk assessments.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2015-022, authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation to participate in the academic internship program with the University of Cincinnati for the purpose of interviewing participating students for one or more unpaid internships for the period of May through September at an average of 15 hours per week with a maximum of 225 hours per student.
I move motion 2015-022. This is for the authorizing the interns for the Director of Parks and Recreation.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we do have a presentation tonight. Chief Jim Howarth is going to do a presentation with Jeff Miller and Levi.
Thank you, President. Officer Miller, you can come on up. I'd just like to take a few minutes to introduce our newest officer, Levi, to the trustees, and K-9 handler, Jeff Miller. They started as a team back in October, where they spent 6 weeks up in Shallow Creek, which is in Sharpsville, Pennsylvania. They trained up there for 6 weeks. Officer Miller and Levi came back and did an additional 4 weeks with the Cincinnati Police Department K-9 unit in training, where they graduated on December 29th from that academy for the 4 weeks. November 29th. So he's actually been out on the street here for a little bit. He's actually already had some good finds, suspects, and article searches. So with that, I was just going to turn it over to Officer Miller, and he can tell you a little bit about Levi and what he's trained to do and what you can look forward to. All right, I've been with the Delhi Police Department for going on 7 years now. Like Chief Howard said, Levi came from Holland.
We're going to get the mic.
We don't want Levi to move.
Off. Levi came from Holland. Off. We did
training up at Shallow Creek for 6 weeks, then with an additional 4 weeks with the city off. Levi's narcotics or drugs. He does methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine, marijuana. He also does patrol work as well too, which is suspect apprehension, building searches, article searches, and tracks. He'll be 2 in April, so he's still young and got a lot of growing to do. So do I. So he's a great dog, good at what he does. We have got his first find a couple weeks ago on a track, and we've had numerous drug finds as well too. So he's done a great job. Great asset for the police department. Great asset for Delhi Township. Other than that, that's about it. It's a good dog. Like I said, he's got a lot of growing to do, don't you? Yeah, you do.
He would like to
What's
speak
the
to
mic?
the audience.
Wants to do the
If you
oath.
only talk, that would make things so much easier.
Drive a car and write reports and everything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't need me then.
Anybody have any questions of Officer Miller or Levi?
Hey, Stevie?
He's handsome. I mean, he's a good-looking dog, and I'm glad to hear that he's out there and doing what he's trained to do. He barks from the car, though, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. It's the kennel. It's the kennel security thing, is what it is. So
He's sniffing.
there's
Somebody might have had
he's
something
trying
on
to
him
find.
there.
Somebody's got something on him. The barking in the car thing is just normal for them. Some dogs get that where that's their safe haven, and anybody that comes around or comes near me or what have you, that he'll bark. So it's kind of an added security for us. You know what I mean?
It's all right.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm dirty. I was in training today, so
I was going to ask you about that.
yeah.
Trustee Klug?
Yeah.
No fresh bites yet?
No, we almost have one, but well, I'll leave it at officer screwed it up. So
What's that thing he wears around his neck there?
this here is it's called an e-collar. It just helps with the obedience and helps with the bite work and stuff like that. So I just introduced it to him today. He's the real deal. I mean, he absolutely loves what he does. He works his hind end off when he does it, and he's all business, And then when he's at home, he's a dog. He knows how to turn it off. He's good with the kids, works well with kids. But
And what type of breed did you say he was?
German Shepherd.
Okay, yes. And he's with you 24/7 then?
Yeah, he's at home.
Okay.
Stays with me all the time. So house thing is a different thing. He gets along with the kids good. I've got another German Shepherd that they get along great. So no
And
problems with
you said he's 2 years old. Usually these
He'll
dogs last around 5 to 7 years.
him about 10 years.
Okay. And he'd be able to work on the force for 10 years? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And then as long as there ain't no health issues, his work rate is about 10 years compared to a German Shepherd, which is only about 8.
Okay.
So he's got a different breed in him as far as him being from Holland and where he came from. So with him, with his breed, he can outlast a true German Shepherd. So, but he's full blooded. So it depends on the breed and where they come from for their reliability issues. Where their hips are. He's a little lower to the ground, so his hips aren't as bad as like my German Shepherd. My German Shepherd's 110 pounds, so he's like this tall. He's like a horse. So as he gets older, he's going to have a lot of issues with him being lower to the ground and being shorter and thinner. Makes it a lot easier for him. So,
Great. Well, we thank you, and it's nice to meet you, Levi.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to get that close to him, though.
No, you don't want to get that close to him.
Well, thank you, Chief
All right.
Howarth.
I would like to say I appreciate what Jeff's doing. Nobody, unless you're in this position, can understand, for one, being away from the home for 6 weeks with children, which I was gone for 10 weeks with the FBI Academy, so I know how that was. Very difficult. He was able to come home on weekends, which made it a little nicer. But just the dedication. I mean, you figure it's 24/7. This is his partner. And this dog would do anything to save Jeff's life or any other officer's life. And I would like to also stress that this is, also, although it's Delhi Township, it's an asset to other agencies around. We're always talking about shared services. Green Township's already utilized the dog and already captured, made a apprehension of a suspect with no bite, and has really gone anywhere from Delhi to Lincoln Heights, where he went out to track for that murder suspect, where they called him out there. So didn't catch make an apprehension or catch the bad guy, but did find a couple articles along the way that might have been tied to the bad guy that left behind. So we'll see where that pans out. So truly it's just not Delhi Township, but anybody's able to, and the city's even called to utilize the dog too, because they don't always have one on 24/7. I'd also like to mention funding. It was purchased, the training and Levi, through the drug funds. So those are funds that we've seized off of drug dealers. So we're able to use those funds for anything drug related. Naturally can sniff out drugs, so we were able to use that drug fund to purchase Levi and to send Jeff to training. I say Jeff to training because Levi already knew what to do. They just had to train Jeff how to use Levi. So that cost $13,500, and it's because the officers out there getting dope money off of arrestees and so forth that we were able to use that money instead of money from our regular budget. So
Great.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
well, you got 10 more years of it.
But it's the hardest thing I've ever done. So it definitely, like I said, he's a great dog and be a good asset for the department for years.
I appreciate what you do also, Jeff, and I appreciate the support of the trustees allowing us to have the K-9 unit. So
Thank you.
All right.
5 more would be nice.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Ready? Back to training. All right, see you guys.
Next, we have trustee correspondence. Trustee Seavey.
Nothing this evening.
Trustee Klug.
I do have something. I have a little something I want to share with everybody. I'm recognizing my family just walked in the back. Thank you for coming. I want to read off a little something I wrote up. It's with great appreciation of all the citizens of Delhi Township that voted me into office in 2011 that I am announcing that I will not be running for another term as Delhi Township trustee. My term will expire in December of this year, and I look forward to spending the remainder of that term given 200% at all the issues at hand. As I have served the citizens of Delhi Township for the past 3 years alongside my colleagues, I've dedicated a lot of time to conserving resources for the township. Building a management team that will continue to lead the township into more prosperous times and meeting the needs of the citizens. I've enjoyed serving the township as trustee. However, due to my time constraints, my family and my career need to be my priority over the next few years. I'll be leaving the township a better place than when I started in 2012. During my tenure as trustee, I established new leadership in hiring a new administrator, Pete Landrum. Thank you very much. I have participated in hiring new management for parks and for economic development, and passed police and fire levies, implemented utility aggregation, and conserved resources so that the township will remain solvent for years to come. I would like to thank you all very much for all your support and wish Delhi Township and my colleagues the best in the years to come. I am sure there are many citizens that would love to serve the township as trustee. Now is the time for them to seize this opportunity. And most importantly, I would express the gratitude and appreciation and love I have for my family, for it's them that put me here along with the citizens of Delhi Township. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. I was going to talk about energy aggregation, but it doesn't seem like I can follow it up. Now, I want to say last year, even though I've only worked with you for a year, I think the board has worked really well together. We've accomplished a lot, and I know you won't give up. I know the rest of the year we're still going to do the same thing, work together, accomplish a lot more. So we truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
And you've been sitting here since I have. It's great.
Yes, I have.
Fun. We'll miss.
Report from the fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
There will be no FAB meeting in February. That's all I have.
There's no public hearings tonight. We do have one report from a department head, Mr. Landrum.
Yes, just to remind citizens, they should have been receiving their aggregation on electric notices to opt out. The information's provided. You'll see a township logo on the form. So make sure that that's how you'll know it's the Township Aggregation Electric Program, is that it'll have our township logo on it. The 1-800 number and email address is on there. Please make sure you call if you have any questions. Worst case scenario, the information is located on Facebook. It's also located on our website. And if all else fails, 922-3111. Give us a call and we'll direct you on the right path. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I just have one question, Pete. There's been a couple residents that have asked me about this, and a few of them, somebody asked a question that they're already looking at their bill. Are they already seeing something about aggregation on their bill now?
On their bill, only gas.
On gas, yeah.
Not
Because they seem to think it was more expensive now than it was before that. Can you explain that?
It shouldn't be. We're hearing all kinds of.
I can actually explain it because I
Okay.
get the bills.
Go ahead.
I had a resident say the same thing. What it is before it was passed through. So Duke would include it in the numbers in your bill. You wouldn't really pay attention to it. Now when you look at the back of the bill, there's a separate section that says Integris Energy Alliance, and it's broken down. So it pops out now, and they think it's an additional fee that's getting on top of it. All they're doing is showing this is what's going there, and it's not a pass-through anymore. So I had the same comment to me, and that's why people think it's an add-on, but it's not. It's just being highlighted.
Gas has always been taxed. Electric is not. Don't know why the Public Utility Commission or State of Ohio or federal, whoever decides what is taxed, but yeah, let's not give them any ideas. Electric is not taxed. So they should be almost able to make apples to apples comparison on that. Although I will caution people, please, we have, with this program, have gathered not just Delhi Township, but a lot of other municipalities and other townships have joined forces. So when if you go to a car dealership and you say, I want 100 cars, what's the price per car, versus you go and buy one and say, what's the price for that one car, who do you think is going to get a better deal? And a lot of these people, places that are sell by night, trying to get you to commit long-term contracts that get you up front and rake you over the coals next 3 years, and you $500 to get out of the contract, and all this other stuff people are kind of falling for. Note that the township, we've vetted the program, the process. We've seen Green Township use it, Coleraine Township use it. Many of other neighboring communities have used this process, so we know that we're getting the best deal for the individual. A lot of people start looking at their bill on electric-wise, and let me just speak to that for 1 second. In the electric bill, you have distribution charges and delivery charges. They're broken down separate, and some people miss the one, and they'll see, oh, well, this is only 2.9 cents. It's 0.0029 or however it is, and we're saying our price is 0.0589 is ours. And there's like, well, mine's cheaper than 0.0589. They're not adding the two together on the parts of their bill to come up with what they're actually paying. There is a large increase due from Duke as well that's coming up, and we're locked in for the electric at that price till December of 2017. So just, I guess bottom line is, if you have questions on this, call them. Have your bill ready beside you. Go through it with them. Make sure you're making an educated guess. The good thing about our program, there's no opt-out fee. You can get in anytime. You can get out anytime. There's no strings attached. If you like it, you can join us at any time, but just be educated on what you are actually paying when you look at your bill. So please look at that. If you're getting a better deal right now, great. Maybe in 6 months you won't, and you can jump on our program at that time. But just make an educated guess. The contact information is there, or call us and we'll guide you in the right direction.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Will.
Reading of the resolutions, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2015-019, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-020, resolution amending appropriations for expense in various funds and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, this is a budget amendment adding an additional $5,000 to legal counsel labor for fees. This is needed basically to cover the rest of the year in legal services. That should be just basic legal services. The funding that we have budgeted basically has been exhausted, but with good reason, because of the collective bargaining is complete for the year, and that took up the money that we had budgeted. So we have to have a little bit of a balance, $5,000 in there for the rest of the year.
So next year it should be less, because we don't have we won't have any collective bargaining.
In theory.
Okay. All right. All right, I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-021, resolution authorizing participation in and execution of the Hamilton County, Ohio Fire EMS Mutual Aid Agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Interim Chief Campbell.
No, this is pretty straightforward. This contract hasn't been updated since 1991, so I think pretty sure we were using fire trucks back then, and we're using fire trucks now. It covers all the bases. It brings it up to code, and it's best practices, and it applies to computer-aided dispatch. So really, we're just bringing things up to date as it's reflected in the practices now with mutual aid agencies. And then the Hamilton County Fire Chiefs will serve as a repository for these agreements. I liken this to if we have a natural disaster and we call in mutual aid companies, these contracts are in fact contracts that allow us to work together when it comes into issues of federal funding, state funding. These contracts being signed and up to date are what really protects our jurisdiction and other jurisdictions to use mutual aid. So it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions, Trustee Seavey?
None.
Trustee Klug?
None.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-022, resolution authorizing execution and submission of the 2014 Township Highway System Mileage Certification and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution?
No. I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes. I do not have any pink sheets for citizen comments tonight. Announcement of community events. Mr. Luby?
The Western Wildlife Corridor Winter Membership Meeting will be Tuesday, February 17th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at Earth Connection at 370 Neeb Road. The public is invited to attend to learn about their activities and mission to preserve the scenic beauty and natural resources of the Ohio River Valley. Chris Swigard of Wild Birds Unlimited will be the guest speaker. Contact Roz at 451-4594 for more details, or go to www.westernwildlifecorridor.org. The Delhi Historical Society program, The History of Spring Grove Cemetery, will be Monday, March 9th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Park Lodge, 5125 Foley Road. The public is invited to attend. Author Phil Nuxall will talk about the history of the Spring Grove Cemetery and present his books, Beauty in the Grove and Stories in the Grove. The Delhi Branch Library program, Doll Collecting Before the American Girl Doll with Carol Wood, will be Tuesday, March 10th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library, 5095 Foley Road. The public is invited to attend. To learn more, please contact the library at 369-6019 or email Mary Beth Brestel at cincinnatilibrary.org. In other announcements, the 2015 American Lung Association Fight for Air Climb. A team of 11 Delhi Township firefighters will again participate in the Fight for Air Climb charitable event to raise money for the American Lung Association. The event will take place at the Crew Tower on Sunday, February 15th, 2015, from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Having won the event the past 2 years, the department is eager to retain the title and hope to beat their best time of 8 minutes and 41 seconds. If you are interested in supporting your Delhi Township firefighter team with a monetary donation, please visit the Delhi Team's ALA event page on the American Lung Association's website. To learn more, please call Lieutenant Dan Alberts at 922-2011. The Delhi Township Fire Department's educational programs support those who wish to stop smoking and give people with COPD the tools to live fuller lives. Get the dirt on backyard composting. The Hamilton County Recycling and Solid Waste District will present a free 1-hour seminar focusing on the basics of backyard composting on Wednesday, April 8th, 2015 at Oak Hills High School at 7 p.m. Supplies and seats are limited. Contact the district to pre-register at www.hamiltoncountyrecycles.org or call the recycling hotline at 946-7734.
I also want to announce the Western Economic Council is meeting February 20th, 2015 at 7:30 a.m. at Receptions. The speaker this time will be Greg Hartman. With that, there is need for executive session tonight. Could we have the motion, Mr. Luby?
Motion 2015-023 to retire to executive session to consider the employment and dismissal of public employees and reviewing negotiations with public employees.
I move motion 2015-023 to retire to executive session to consider the employment and dismissal of public employees and reviewing negotiations with public employees.
Second the motion.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Motion passes. That concludes our regular meeting tonight. Our next meeting for the Board of Trustees is Wednesday, February 25th, 2015. Everyone have a good night.